250 kitchens. I still can't seem to wrap my head around that number. So once again, thank you all for so much support this year. I can't tell you how much it means to me. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thanks for hanging with us even though we skipped last week. It was just things were hectic here in the studio and something had to be dropped, something had to give, and it was YouTube. So now, this week's video, I want to take a bit of a different approach and dive into some of those past client projects, and not overarching themes like layout or design styles or commonalities amongst all of them. Instead, I want to dive in more to 5 particular design elements or characteristics that I really liked in 2021. That's probably not going to work as a title. Now, the goal of this video is not to get you to think that these design elements or these characteristics are the be-all end-all in any way whatsoever, and some of them don't even have anything to do with functionality whatsoever. They are purely aesthetic in nature. No, the goal here is to get you to think a little bit more outside the box and maybe approach your own kitchen design from a slightly different angle. As you'll see, sometimes we're discussing things that aren't even really in the kitchen, but are still going to impact kitchen design. So with that, let's dive in. So first up on the list is full-size fridge and freezer combos. Now, I'm not talking about the above and below combo, I'm talking about those big behemoth 60 or 72 inch wide side-by-side units that you see in really high-end houses or maybe even commercial settings. Do you see them in commercial settings? No, they probably have like a walk-in freezer. Anyways, back on topic. I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that the vast majority of us do not have space to include this in our kitchens. They just simply aren't big enough. However, if you are one of those lucky few that happen to have the space, this is something you might want to consider.
Well, I've had a few fortunate clients this year who fell into that category with enough space to incorporate something like this in their kitchen. And man, it made me a little jealous. You know, I'd love to have something like that in my own space. Now, if you're considering going down this route, full fridge and freezer combo, consider adding it into somewhat of a consumable zone within your kitchen. So what I mean by this is having pantries on either side or pantries on both sides and above. This will help prevent the 2 units from overwhelming the rest of the kitchen or becoming a defining feature in themselves.
You can take that fridge-freezer combo one step further by hiding them with matching panels, so they just look like another cabinet on that wall, and basically you wouldn't even know they were there. Next up on my list is backsplash windows. Not your normal window that sits maybe between some wall cabinets or above the sink. I'm referring to thin or narrow windows that would sit between your countertops and wall cabinets and take up a place that would normally be filled by tile or your backsplash. Now, this is not a typical design element you commonly see, and you're probably thinking, well, why would you want windows down there anyways? You can't see out them. Well, that's exactly why you might want to put the windows there. Every now and then you'll find a kitchen where these narrow, thin, or skinny backsplash windows just happen to fit the bill perfectly. We often get caught up about thinking of flow and movement in terms of inside our homes and how we go from one room to another. But there is another part of this that maybe should be a little bit more at the forefront of design and discussed a little bit further, and that is what lies outside of our windows.
Will you stop bothering me? I'm sorting my trash here.
In this particular kitchen, the side of the home overlooks an alleyway, not exactly the most attractive view. In order to minimize its impact, I opted for smaller windows. These still bring in the natural light, but leave the rest of the area open for wall-to-wall cabinetry. More cabinets here means we can maximize the window behind the sink, an area with a much better view over the backyard.
Next up is the round living space. Now, most folks would probably look at a room with 12 sides and think, not a chance, I'm relocating the kitchen. What's a room with 12 sides called? A dodecagon is a 12-sided polygon. Learn something every day. Not this client though. They tackled the challenge head on, said we're gonna fit it in there and we're gonna try and make this work because we love having all of the open windows, all of the light pouring in, and it would create a really unique living space.
Well, after a bunch of math, we figured out a solution that would allow her to take advantage of 4 walls within this dodecagon, pair it with an island, and create a truly unique and functional kitchen.
Basically, all of this to say, don't be afraid to tackle a challenging space. Those constraints might lead you down a cool path or give you unique opportunities. and it might just end up turning those challenging characteristics into really defining features of your new space. At number 4 on the list, I have the island and kitchen table combo. These names are just absolutely terrible. Anyways, I've always liked the look of combining a kitchen table and the kitchen island in some manner to create this unique central piece to a kitchen. Now, not every kitchen is going to be able to incorporate an island and table combo without it looking maybe out of place for the space. However, if you happen to have one of those kitchens where this particular concept works really well, there are a couple advantages to going that route.
So first up, this solution works really well with long, narrow kitchens. These spaces can be quite challenging to balance out both functionally and aesthetically, often leading to just an extremely long island. Now, the problem with really long islands is introducing seams into our countertops. Typically, the longest length of stone available is roughly 120 inches, and anything longer than that introduces a seam. What we're really after is a long visual definition for the space, and we can achieve this by combining an island under 120 inches in length with a table all in one unit. The second benefit comes down to saving space. If you've got a kitchen where a space is at a premium, maybe a condo, maybe a townhouse with open concepts, and you don't want just island seating, the island table combo will save floor space and still give you a traditional seating area.
At number 5, it's framed cabinetry or framed inserts. We're just gonna keep going on the bad names. We're already at the end anyways. So I played around with this concept a little bit in the past, but I have to give some credit, the real credit, to a client of mine who brought this element to just the forefront of his kitchen design, got my creative juices flowing, and gave me the real inspiration to dive into this concept a little bit further. So what exactly do I mean by framed cabinetry? Well, the idea is to take cover panels or millwork panels or different colors or materials and frame out your kitchen cabinets, giving another dimension, another visual separation, maybe a pop of color or texture to your space, really elevating that aesthetic portion of your kitchen. Now again, not functional in any way whatsoever, but it really can take a kitchen from looking great to phenomenal. That probably isn't a very good description, so let's dive into a couple examples of how we used it this year, and hopefully that'll help clear it up a little.
In this particular kitchen, I really wanted a pop of black without introducing it to the cabinets themselves. And black's finally starting to get that recognition it deserves when it comes to design. It's great for adding visual impact, and in small doses, it can achieve some really dramatic results to tie a room together. Whether it's in seating or lighting, or in the case of this kitchen, in the cabinetry framing. In this kitchen, black was used with a very similar effect, adding definition to the open shelving. The neat thing here is you can create this look without actually using any cabinet boxes. The entire section is wrapped in a white frame, and then black panels are used to create the interior open shelves. Once these are lit up with lighting, they'll add a real pop to the kitchen. And finally, this last kitchen, one I alluded to several months back as one of the most challenging spaces I've ever worked on. This home is undergoing a complete transformation, both in terms of finishes and structure. And the cool thing here is this kitchen is one of the best examples of using IKEA cabinetry for the guts only. That means the boxes, hardware, and interior organizers. Everything else is going to be custom, like the aftermarket doors. However, the real finish to this space and the unifying feature across the whole kitchen is the walnut panels that wrap around and frame out the cabinetry.
Well, everyone, I know the year isn't quite over yet, but hitting that 250 mark just made me want to dive in and share some of my favorite design elements of 2021 with all of you guys. So once again, I can't thank you all enough for the support you've given me both on the channel and off the channel at the design studio this year. I'm so looking forward to 2022 and growing our community even further. So thanks again, thanks for watching, and I can't wait to see all of your smiling faces next week.